Across America, educational competence is being challenged. Somehow, someway, we have gotten off track as to the importance of educating our youth. The dropout rate is high, and classroom attendance is low. Mediocrity seems to be an acceptable way of life, and words like high performance, excellence, and being above average have been replaced with statements like, just do your best. Here at the Urban League of San Diego County, students of the New Lights program began working on a documentary film addressing these issues. The findings were startling, and during the course of their research, new information emerged. As this video project took on a life of its own, students discovered for themselves that just being average isn't good enough.
I think the adults, out of all people, would be the ones that would be like, oh yeah, like raise your hand and come.
They called themselves the Now Generation. The acronym NOW stands for Never Overlook Wisdom. They believe working together, we can make a difference.
My mom and I read the one article about how students in America compare to students in other industrialized countries and how we ranked, and we were ranking fairly low. And it was just talking about how comparing our scores from the 70s to today, and showing over time that we've kind of stayed mostly the same.
Parents' involvement became very challenging because they too wanted to help with this project.
When we become, like Rosa says, we need to know ourselves, we need to master our spirits. Once we know who we are, we can truly be, and that's what you've done. You've mastered your spirit. You know where you're going.
It is like a good Pandora's box, let's say. It keeps unfolding, and every piece of it is good.
There is an intensity level when you're trying to prepare a presentation for a national competition, because other cities are going to have their best people working on theirs as well. So you have to make sure that you're spending some time making this special.
Covering the basic topics, students soon realized that they were dealing with adult subject matters and issues that had somehow became their challenge also.
Economic transformations and the expansion of civil rights.
We all have our own ideas on public education, and these ideas have been evolving since the beginning.
What is a functionally illiterate person? A functionally illiterate person.
Going from student to adult moved these young people from just being thinkers to critical thinkers and closer to adulthood.
The purpose of school has definitely been changing around that, because since that's happening outside the school, the education has been forced to change because of those things are happening.
When talking with young people not from this country, they presented a different perspective. As students interviewed educators, parents, politicians, community, and civic leaders, it quickly became apparent that they were no longer just high school students working on a project, but citizens of a country looking for collective solutions to an ever-increasing problem.
I want to teach. I want to do my job, and they don't allow me to do my job. So I tell the kids, you're stealing knowledge from your neighbor.
To me, that epitomizes education. You, Prince. That's what that does. That's what that says. And if it's in him, based on what he came through, it's in you.
For young boys, it's intelligence over emotions. Do not be emotions over intelligence. That'll hang you up.
You need to actually learn how to write, cursive and handwriting, the fundamentals. You need to know how to do your math by using your brain as opposed to doing it in this, because when the power goes out, what do you have?
Nothing.
Nothing.
When we go and interview our teachers, we can ask questions that relate to them and our points, and then we can just look at all the interviews can go together on the video.
Yeah, so I can do that.
Can I take this?
Yeah. Yeah, and then we can just send everybody an email with all the questions, and they can start interviewing their teachers.
When a person sets their standards high, it means that they're definitely not trying to be average.
Before education was formal in the classroom, parents taught their kids. When I was reading this article,
what shot out for me was the population growth.
Things outside the school, like violence or poverty or immigration and people.
Standard have been lowered, and there needs to be a change.
And one of the things that we teach is that we're not moving through life as common people, because it's our choice to be uncommon.